Hi, I'm Annette from itsadelight.com. Thank you for joining me today. I am going to share how I have learned over the years that shaker bottles can be very convenient for lots of things that you might not have thought about. So I'm just going to start right out because I have lots of things I want to share, and I really want to get you thinking outside the box how great and handy shaker bottles really are. So I'm going to first start out with what I kind of call my smoothie drawer shakers, because they all sit in a little spot in a drawer right next to my Vitamix to make it easy. So I'm going to even encourage you to think that way, whether you're going to use it in your coffee, whether you're going to bake with it, where you're going to use it. You can put it on your popcorn. Keep all those ones together where it's convenient, okay? So in my smoothie drawer, I have bilberry powder. And you might think, bilberry powder, what you got bilberry powder for? Now, I can't go on all the great, wonderful things that bilberry powder has, but it is wonderful for your eyes. It's very good for eye health, night vision. Of course, I have glasses, so I'm always being very conscious of trying to do things that would benefit my eyesight. So another thing about bilberry powder is it has a very rich color. Besides that, it's rich with antioxidants and minerals and vitamins. It has a very deep purple color. So when you add it to smoothies, kids love the color and just the richness that it looks. So if you're looking to change the color of something, that's great. Another one I have is lucuma. You might be like, lucuma powder. Well, I was looking for something that was kind of caramely and a little bit sweet to put in my lattes, because I was trying to just, again, healthen those up some. And I learned about lucuma powder. And lucuma powder has a really nice caramely taste to it. And it's great when you're going to add it to tea lattes that are a little bit plain. So I have lucuma powder in one. Another one is beet powder. Beet powder I came across because, again, besides the fact that it has all kinds of nourishing, healthy benefits for us, and I don't eat near the root vegetables that I should. This is great to add beet powder, but I started with beet powder because I was trying to find a way that I could make things look pink, a nice bright pink, whipped cream, frosting, again, smoothies where maybe you just had a few strawberries or maybe you had some peaches and it was a little on the pale side. You add a little beet powder and it doesn't change the flavor, and it's gonna make it a beautiful color. So baobab powder. Oh, baobab powder, we're hearing about this all over the place. Put it in a shaker bottle, and now it's convenient to shake this in your smoothie. Baobab powder has a citrusy flavor to it. And I'll add here, if you taste things, I have a spice course and I teach you how to pour a little bit in your hand and taste each one. You start to learn where I can use baobab powder. Because, oh, it's tart, citrusy. I can use it in orange smoothies. I can use it in orange kombucha or other drinks like that, okay? Now, let me share another thing. If you're trying to remember the benefits that something has, put a little sticker on the back of your spice bottle. I actually do that for myself to remind myself. I got baobab and lucuma at the same time, and I couldn't remember which one was caramely and which one was citrusy. So I just put a little note on the back to remind myself, oh, it's high in minerals, it's high in calcium, it's rich in antioxidants, it helps form collagen, it's excellent for skin, circulation, energy. That's all baobab. So if you want to remember some of those things, write a note. These are your jars. Use them, make it work for you. You can even put it on the top, because I'm looking down at mine in a drawer that is super convenient. I just use a simple little white marker to write their name on the top. Next one is maca, and maca, again, is very good for men and women. It's good for hormone balance, endurance, and I wanted to start adding it to my smoothies, so I put it in a shaker bottle, okay? Gelatin. Gelatin is a new one. It doesn't even have a front label, because I take a lot of collagen. We consume a lot of bone broth, but I wanted to start adding a little bit more gelatin into places. So I thought to myself, well, Annette, if you put it in a shaker bottle, you might shake it on more things. So gelatin is in a shaker bottle also. This one is Glucy. If you do THM or use glucomannan for thickening, This is really handy because you can control it well. This one is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is kind of like maca. It can have a little bit of a strong flavor, but it's so good for us. It has lots of benefits for adrenals, fatigue, stress, sleep. And we might not want to take a capsule of everything all the time, but we just add these little shakes on in your smoothie. Every morning, I get probably 5 things in my latte in the winter. If I'm doing a smoothie, then I'm going to get 5 or 6 things in my smoothie. That's all going to add up. Just in case if you were wondering, 1 capsule is about 1/4 of a teaspoon. So if you're shaking this stuff on, you're going to add up to 1/4 of a teaspoon really quick. And now you don't have to be taking all these extra capsules or pills and things because you're going to be adding so much benefit. I happen to keep Siberian ginseng in a shaker bottle because I like to add Siberian ginseng to things because it also is a really good herb for energy and endurance. Now, next I have bee pollen. And because I used to have a difficulty when I would get stung with a bee, having real bad reactions or allergic reactions, I started taking bee pollen, and that helps a lot. So I have to keep that handy and just make it so that you can shake it in your bottle. Now, bee pollen, you got to keep in the fridge. You're supposed to keep it in the fridge. Some people do, some people don't. I guess I would recommend it. But again, just put it where it's convenient. Keep it in a shaker bottle. It might be pollen because it wouldn't come out of the shaker. I just removed the little spot there, and then it kind of just pours out easily. You could do this with chia seed, with flax seed, anything that you are using, okay? So that's smoothie drawer. Now let's go to what would be by my stove, okay? Some that you might not have thought of, kelp. And again, I have a spice course, my top 12 spices and seasonings I love to use every week. That's just shaking on the goodness. And in that course, I talk about kelp and a few of these other ones. So if you want more information, you can check out that class. But kelp sits right next to my stove. It's shaking on everything. Nettles is another one. It's nettle leaf, okay? Turmeric. Again, if you want to use more turmeric, but it's in some spice jar or container way back in the back of your cupboard, it's inconvenient. This sits right next to the stove. So every morning when we make eggs, if I'm going to make filled eggs, I'm going to make soup, I just put shakes of this beautiful golden turmeric in the pan. Ginger. Ginger is another thing that I try to use more of because I think it's super good for digestion and just lots of other things. So I made it convenient. Smoked paprika. This is my go-to favorite barbecue flavoring. And again, this is actually one of my top 12 seasonings. So now I have one single, and this one is called nutritional yeast. And this goes by the popcorn cupboard, because that's what we shake it on. When I wanted to get my kids shaking this on popcorn or shaking it in a bean dip or anything that they wanted to add a little bit of a cheesy flavor, a little bit more of seasoning, I knew this was good for them. And so you put it in a shaker bottle and you make it convenient, then we use it, right? Even you and I do. So now we're gonna go to what I call my little latte drawer. And that's just a bunch of little teas, and I have these little shakers in there because these ones are the ones, again, that I would use. So first, of course, I have cacao, which is the same as cocoa. Cacao is unrefined, so it's supposed to be a little bit healthier. But if you had baking cocoa, you do the same thing. I love sometimes to put a little cocoa on my latte, or a little cocoa in a tea or a mint tea and have mint and cocoa. So I just made it convenient. Cinnamon. I love to have cinnamon on everything. And so cinnamon, of course, is in a shaker bottle. And let me just tell you another little thing. Well, let me back up here. Cinnamon, I should just tell you that I would really encourage you to do a little bit of research about cinnamon. If you're going to use cinnamon for the health benefits, be sure you know what you're using, okay? There's cassia cinnamon and there's Ceylon cinnamon. And there's a few other cheap ones too, like Saigon and one that starts with a K that we probably can't even pronounce. But cassia is the cheap kind of cinnamon that you see everywhere. That's a common one in the grocery store. That's not the same as real cinnamon, which is Ceylon with a C, C-E-Y-L-O-N. Ceylon cinnamon is real cinnamon that has health benefits. So if you're shaking something on for the health benefits, use the good stuff. I know it's going to cost a little bit more, but if we want it for the benefits, you got to use the right stuff. Okay, so do a little bit of research on that one. And I'll tell you another thing. Sweeteners, this is monk fruit, and this one is Truvia, because I do tend to use that, which is kind of like a erythritol mix. Monk fruit, if you take monk fruit and cinnamon, you could get your kids to do this easily on their toast. Instead of using cinnamon and sugar, you tell them shake on their cinnamon and then shake a little monk fruit. And now they're getting something so much better. You don't even have to bother mixing it up. And your kids will do this because they'll like it. So those are a couple more that I keep in there. Cardamom powder. I love cardamom in my chai. And again, when I'm trying to get myself to use more of something, I found the best way to do it is to put it in a shaker bottle. And it goes in the tea drawer because that's where I use it. I don't really put it in smoothies. I don't really cook with it. You can bake with it. It has kind of a little bit of a vanilla-y type of flavor, maybe I would describe that as. It goes well with cinnamon. And then I already mentioned Truvia, or whatever sweetener you use, okay? It's convenient into a shaker bottle. Now, I have a couple more. My pumpkin spice, and yes, it goes in my tea drawer because I put pumpkin spice in a lot of things, again, because it's so similar to chai. So I even put it in my oatmeal. I put it in my French toast batter, any kind of batter, pancake batter. It's great. So again, now it's convenient. I don't even have to measure it out. Just shake some in there and you're good to go. So my last one is called my smoothie herbs. And this is called a shake-in blend, and literally kind of my own thing, my own name. But my kids grew up on this stuff because super greens are they're so popular. They're out there everywhere. They're supposed to be super good for us, and everybody has a brand of super greens, and all kinds of wonderful greens are in them. But they taste awful. They're just awful. I can't get used to it. So I said to myself, well, what if I just take all the herbs that I know that are mild, like nettles is super mild and oat straw is super mild, but these herbs have super good value to them as far as nutrition goes and benefits. And I blended those up in the coffee grinder and came up with my own smoothie mix, which is exactly what I did. And this is another thing you'll be watching, and I will soon have this out, and we'll even have a fun label. So the recipe is right on the back for you. Now you can remix this up so quickly. And that's how the pumpkin spice, I do the same way. Keep the recipe right on the back instead of having a separate card. When I want to mix it up, I just grab out these 6 or 7 things, mix it up, and fill my shaker bottle back up, okay? So that is what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you will be inspired to put some things in shaker bottles. And you know, I'll share another thing. My shaker bottles didn't all match. I had all different kinds of shaker bottles over the years, and some things were big because we used a lot of it, and some things that we were just trying. You can save shaker bottles from other things that come. You don't have to go out instantly and buy 20 shaker bottles. Matter of fact, I would tell you to do the very opposite. Start out with just 1 or 2. Get used to it. Get liking it. Realize and come to know how you're going to use it. And then just keep adding on. Till now, I was actually shocked how many I really had. I was like, wow, this seems like a lot. But it's convenient and easy. Every day they get used. So with that, I'm going to close and just encourage you to shake on the goodness. Check out my top 12 seasoning course. And I will see you in the next video.